Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Jamie, and this will be a reading for Cancer. So I've been posting kind of late lately. I've been working a totally different shift. Well, let's keep it real. I've been mandated to a totally different shift, so I'm trying to make that happen while keeping this going. So I've also kind of been posting during the day a little bit here and there too. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to catch some more readings. I do also offer a membership. If you want to check that out, you can just click join. That should be where the subscribe button is. I'll show you everything I do over there. If you need to book a private personal, that information is in the description of the video. I've also posted on the community page a deal that I have going on right now for 3 question readings. There's a deal there for new clients and a deal for pre-existing clients and members, which is a little bit cheaper, so check that out. All right, that's the message for Cancer. I'm going to keep it real here. Okay, so we have Wants You Back, but it came out in the reverse with Cyberbully. We have the 9 of Swords in the reverse, the 10 of Wands in the reverse, the 3 of Swords in the reverse, the 9 of Pentacles. The 5 of Wands, the 10 of Swords in the reverse, the Star in the reverse, some Aquarius energy, and the 9 of Cups in the reverse as the underlying energy. Someone cannot be told what they do not want to hear. That's what I'm hearing here, that someone's defensive. If somebody says something that they don't want to hear, they attack. They attack. So let me be more specific, right? Because this could be you that's like this. This could be someone around you who's like this. You don't understand why you got that reaction out of someone. Someone believes that something is not over. They're stressed out about it. They're kind of sitting around in this miserable pain. At the same time, they kind of try to pretend or front like they're good without a person. They're not really worried about it. But they don't want to hear that the other person is not interested, does not want to come back. Because I don't understand like these types of people, but it happens a lot. When your feelings are hurt, You don't want someone to confirm your worst fear, which is, because this looks like, a situation really is over between two people and someone refuses to accept it. They could be dealing with somebody who honestly is not worried about them. They're just not stressing them. But even hearing that information sets this person off. This person wants to believe that they're in competition for a person. They could know that there is another individual around or something like this. And I feel like, if you're the type of person who, say somebody is posting about this online nonstop, just nonstop, this is all they're ever talking about, how hurt they are about a person. And you say to this person, you don't need them. You don't need them. You're good by yourself. You could do better or something like this. And they just bug out. Someone could we're at tarot. Perhaps somebody's out here hearing things they don't want to hear from a reader and just bugging out. It's like they prefer the readings where, someone is coming back. It's not really over. Right now they're just in competition with someone else. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think if you're on the opposite end of this, you can't understand why all of a sudden someone just started bullying you just because you said something they didn't like. It's because they're miserable, boo. Like nothing's happening the way they want it to. They only want to hear what they want to hear. And it's just that simple. Now, we could say, oh, well, they're just crazy. Oh, well, they're just an asshole. No, when people get hurt, they get hurt. When they're grieving, they're grieving. Think about that. Let's talk about grieving as if this were a death, right? Trying to tell somebody after their loved one died that they're in a better place. They don't want to hear that shit. They don't even want to accept that this has happened yet. You know what I mean? And honestly, grieving a relationship is a little bit like that. Sure, the person didn't die, but they have exited that person's life. That person is grieving a person. So I wouldn't take it too personally. It's not really about you. It's not really about something that you said. If you're on the other end of this, you have to understand that, sure, you're hurting and you don't want to hear certain things, but realistically, your truest friend in life or your biggest allies are really going to be the people that are going to spit the truth at you because they know that that's what heals, But somebody here is just not a healed person. They don't want to hear what they don't want to hear. This might not even be just with relationships. This could be a person who just does not like anyone who disagrees with their worldview inside of their head. You know what I mean? I feel like it's not just in relationships. Like they could just not really like to be disagreed with. If somebody says something that they don't like, they attack them. They may not know this could be the reason that a relationship has ended. That their behavior or that their energy really is the reason that a situation has ended. They just don't want to hear that shit. They're not at fault. This is just giving somebody that you wouldn't be able to reason with. When people are deeply upset or hurt and they don't want to look at themselves as the problem at all. It's always the other person. They're an asshole. How dare they disagree with me? How dare they not do what I say? How dare they not only consider my feelings while I don't consider theirs? I think it's sad for this person because I'll keep it real. I think they're also a very lonely person, because this is their attitude. This is their objective. Before they ever heard someone else's point of view, before they really tried to understand where someone else is coming from, they would just attack someone. So there's two things going on here. If this is you, this is a part of you that you need to change because unfortunately it is destroying not only the romantic relationships in your life, but I think any relationships in life. Although I understand, when you're hurt people, but the worst thing about being alone and losing a relationship is being truly alone. And truthfully here, this would be based off your behavior. If this is someone else, you're not going to get through. You're not going to get through. Maybe one day if somebody flips this star and this nine of cups, these 10s up into the right side up, and actually chose to deal with the 3 of swords in the right right side up, you know what I mean? Like maybe then they would be able to take what someone else is saying. But this person is not in a position to do that. And so I wouldn't even bother with them. I wouldn't even try to worry about it. No matter how close the bond is, they gotta go cool off and figure it out on their own. Someone doesn't really do fair. They see things from one side only, which is their side. And they're not understanding the same way that they have treated you here is the reason that someone else has left and that person really is not coming back, and it is because of their behavior. I mean, you have to think about it. Imagine being with a person that you can't even slightly disagree with without being literally attacked. You know, you couldn't have a conversation. You know, the way that this person treated you is how they treat the person that left them and several people who have left them before that. This is not their first heartache, and it's not the first time they spun it around and blamed the other person. And in this situation, you're at fault too. Why didn't you consider how hurt they are and how wrong you are? What are you, God? You don't know that somebody's not coming back. Damn it, Cancer. But I feel like, you know, this person may have some, I got Temperance in the reverse, some Sagittarius energy here. This person may just have discord with everyone who literally doesn't want to just be a yes man and just agree to everything that they say. The Six of Swords. The Seven of Wands. Yeah, you'll never find peace. This person's not like a peaceful person. You're not going to find that with them. You know, it's best to just go ahead and get away from them. Like, all you're going to get is triggered energy from this person. They cannot take a point of view that is different than theirs. So, you know, I'm not trying to be mean here, especially if this is you, but the truth is it's unintelligible. People who are intelligent can take new evidence. They can take new information. They can see something from someone else's point of view without an argument, without attacking somebody. They can do that. This is not that person. This person, unfortunately, may find themselves alone for a very long period of time because they like to victimize themselves in a situation they have actually perpetrated. What this is trying to suggest, and I would say that I'm sorry if this is you, but this would be your wake-up call to ask yourself clearly, do I act like this with people? And do I also act like this with a partner who I'm supposed to love, you know, cherish their differences, accept them for who they are? If you're on the opposite end of this person would be a waste of time. You're not going to change their perspective. You're not going to get them to see where you were coming from because you're still not just agreeing with what they believe or what they're saying here. Ooh, this is a weird reading. Page of Cups, Knight of Swords, Page of Pentacles, King of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, it's not a stable person that you're dealing with here. Or somebody's not seeing that they're not stable. They can't. Three of Pentacles in the reverse, the Hermit in the reverse. Enough said. You know, this is somebody who comes from this childish place, and the reality is they could have been raised in a home like this where you didn't disagree with what that parent said. What's interesting, though, is I think they probably hate that parent. like whoever they hate their parent because their parent was like this, but they act like this. There's some impulsivity to this. You know, it's just a very unstable person. They're not willing to compromise. They're not willing to look at somebody else's point of view, and they're not self-aware. So this would suggest that somebody would waste their time trying to deal with this person, period. So, you know, if you have a friend who didn't like that you said, you know, that they shouldn't go back to a cheating partner, or that person is clearly in a relationship, maybe it's time to just give it up, and they flipped out on you, that's just who they are. It doesn't have anything to do with you, but do you really want that kind of person in your life? If you act like this, you cannot expect people to be in your life. I'm sorry. I know it sounds mean, but then the only people that would ever truly be around you are fake people who are yes men that would just pacify a situation instead of ever truly being who they really are. Some of you need to just walk away from this person. Some of you need to leave your emotions behind and take in some new information and understand where people are coming from, because they're not trying to hurt you. They're just saying things from their own perspective, their own experience, you know? Like, I'm getting somebody who thinks that anybody who disagrees with them is narcissistic, or they're a loser, or they're, you know, like, that's just how they react to people. People are actually allowed to have a different opinion, a different point of view. You don't have to accept it as your own. But, again, it's unintelligible to never listen to someone else. Now, if this is regular people every day, I think that's one thing. But if you're getting into relationships with people, or you have interpersonal relationships, this will cause chaos. And actually, you wouldn't be the victim there. But I think for most of you, this is just someone in your life where you're like, what the fuck? No, this person is insufferable. Just leave them alone. You're not... However, I feel like they're, you know, if that's the case, they could still be bullying you. Like, you already gave up in the conversation, decided, you know what, I can't even change this person's point of view. They're just the type to attack. And so they just continue. Like, it'll just never end because they actually are not mature enough to say, hey, I lost this battle, I should shut the fuck up. That won't happen, you know? So whatever side you are on this, you know, obviously, if this is you, maybe it's time to sort of look at our own behavior, ask ourselves, why is it so hard to just listen to what someone else is saying, even if it's different than what we would like to hear? But mostly if it's a romantic thing. For the rest of you, I just wouldn't even let this person bother me at all. I mean, you can only really bully me if I let you. If I block you on everything, it's fuck you, you know? But I think that's, you know, enough said here. For most of you, I think it's the other way around, though, and you just need to know that there's a lot of people like this today. You know, they're not accountable. They, you know, don't care to hear what someone else has to say. They are God, and they are nicer than everyone and better than everyone, and they are the victim in this situation, no matter how they treated someone, and you need to just let that be that. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow.